Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a series review, at least depending on whether or not it gets a second season. This one will be a review of my favorite new series for summer 2016, and it is of Netflix's Season 1 of Stranger Things. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen Stranger Things yet, you definitely gotta check this one out, guys. I did a review of the premiere episode, and a lot of you guys, a lot of my subscribers, they went ahead and they went on Netflix and they watched the series, and as soon as they got started, most of them, within like a couple days or a day, had watched the entire first season, had watched the entire series. I really hope this one gets a season 2, and I'll probably do another video discussing what I think they could do with a season 2, some of my predictions for how I think it could go, what storylines they could use. So heads up for that. That'll be done in the next couple days and posted in the channel for you guys. Want to thank you guys so much, everybody who messaged me, everybody who talked up the series and let me know about it, so I was able to actually, see it, because I get lots of suggestions for different series all the time, but this one was one where there was a lot of people that were talking about Stranger Things, so I decided, you know what, let's check it out. It's on Netflix for free, and you guys can do the same, anybody who hasn't seen it, and you can sign up for a free trial on that and watch it. And man, I am so glad I did. Within, let's see, it was like a week or a week and a half, and I don't have much time, but every day is like, if I had an hour before bed or whatever, I'm watching Stranger Things, I'm watching another episode, because this series had me glued from the first episode. The Vanishing of Will Byers, as soon as I saw the end of the first episode, I was like, wow, this is amazing, because it's done so well. I mean, you start watching it, you watch the premiere, and it's like, you want to know what happens, because the Duffer brothers that did this one, Matt Duffer and Ross Duffer, that created it. They're the creators of the series, and from the very first episode, you see Will disappear, you see him vanish, and so it brings in a lot of questions of mystery. It brings in a lot of questions of wanting to find out, wanting to be in the know of just what happened to him, and if you want to find out, you have to watch the show. So I think that's one of the best hooks for a new series I've seen in a long time, because as soon as you watch the first episode, you're hooked. You want to find out what happened to him. You want to find out what's going on. And the production quality of the series, to be set in the 80s, to have, such a retro kind of 80s movie series feel. I've seen some reviews online that kind of compare it to sort of like inspired by the works of, you have Stephen King, of course. You have James Cameron with Aliens and Alien and that. And, so many E.T. and Spielberg and, all these classic movies at this point. This series is like a television series version of kind of a mismatch of all of that kind of put together and done in just executed in a brilliant way, to the point where I've seen a lot of series. For example, I'll use Under the Dome as an example, where Stephen King, where they bring up a lot of mystery, they bring up a lot of sci-fi, they bring up a lot of different crazy things that are happening and really kind of out there. But then they don't really wrap it up so well. They either leave it going for seasons, or they don't kind of explain it, or it seems to kind of be haphazardly written. It doesn't make sense, or it just doesn't fit and it doesn't feel right. This one, for me, pretty much every way, they just did it in such a brilliant way where it just all fits together. All the pieces of the puzzle fit together, and these questions that are brought up at the beginning that are very, very mysterious and very interesting about what's happening and how does this make sense and how does this all fit in. As you're watching the show and as you start to find out more about the characters, be it Eleven and the Demogorgon, it's funny, and that you start to kind of see how all the pieces fit together and how it really is done with a lot of care, and it's really well written. So going through the series, people told me, Trev, after the beginning, after the premiere, it just gets better, and I have to agree, it really does, episode to episode for this one. There's only 8 episodes in the first season, but they're pretty long. Each one is around 50 minutes or so. And man, just really amazing. I felt like the character connections and the acting was incredible. For example, Winona Ryder as Joyce Byers. I haven't seen Winona Ryder in a long time, not since I remember the tabloids and that reporting that she was caught shoplifting, that kind of stuff. I don't recall seeing her since then, since that. But she can act her ass off, man. She puts on an amazing performance as just a grief-stricken mother who is just absolutely terrified and worried about her son who's missing. And I don't see how anybody watching it couldn't really get into that and want to see how that goes. The way she's written and the way that Winona Ryder acts out Joyce, fantastic character. Just gets you right into the experience and makes you want to stay until the end and find out what happens all the way through. And they resolve it in the last episode, and they do it in such a way where maybe there's a chance, and we'll save this for the other video, for season 2. Maybe there's a chance for a season 2. The Netflix... one of the people from Netflix said that they'd kind of be stupid not to do a season 2 after all the, publicity and just the popularity of the first season of Stranger Things. So Joyce is an amazing character, and Winona Ryder's performance is incredible in this one. David Harbour as Jim Harper he's a police chief. He's really fun too. He kind of plays your kind of badass cop who doesn't give a shit and is in the middle of all this stuff but wants to do the right thing. He's a great character too. He might be my favorite from the show. In terms of the kids, because this one has a really great, and this is something I haven't seen for a while either, where you have a series that focuses on kids that it's actually portrayed and played by kids. I mean, it makes you feel like something like, I remember like the Goonies or shows like this where you have this kind of young male camaraderie and feeling of a group and really close-knit friends. You have Mike Wheeler played by Finn Wolfhard. And he's awesome. Mike is he my favorite out of the kids? I think he's probably my favorite out of the kids. And I think he's great. And what happens with him and Eleven is really, really cute. It's really something that I think is another great character dynamic. And they really do an awesome job with the characters in this show. Aside from having, you got the monster element, you got the mystery element. But it wouldn't be much if we didn't care about the characters. And this felt like some kind of, hacker-slasher movie where we really don't care who gets killed off. It really doesn't matter to us. In this series, no, it really does create those emotional tethers for us as viewers to really care for the characters, I think, and to feel sorry for them when they're in pain, to feel like we want them to succeed and we want them to find their friend, and amazing. So Eleven is a lot of fun too. She's a great character as well too, and I like to see some of the parts throughout the series with her. You've got some like X-Men. I almost thought like some Jean Grey stuff in here, maybe some Magneto stuff with flipping the van over, and just some really, really great sequences, some really great scenes when she just loses it. And I kind of the ending for me was a little bit predictable, but it's not a bad thing. It's just I figured if anyone's going to defeat the Demogorgon, it's going to be Eleven. It's going to how it's going to be. And I felt like the ending was very sad. It was but it was just like there was mixed emotions, but it was great at the same time. Very sad and very well done with Eleven for sure at the end. Then we have Dustin Henderson played by Gatton Matt Arazo. He's hilarious kid because he's got the teeth missing and stuff, and really funny, and he's like the glue for their little group to keep it all together. You've got he's got lots of funny parts all throughout the series. I laugh hysterically at all kinds of stuff he does and stuff he says. It's just really funny. Lucas Sinclair played by Caleb McLaughlin. He's another fun kid as part of the group. He's kind of standoffish with Mike at a part there, but you can see his perspective, and he just adds to the group as well too. We've got Nancy Wheeler played by Natalia Dyer. Her story with she's got kind of I don't want to say like a love triangle, but kind of like a teenage type deal. You've got Jonathan Byers in there, and then you've got Steve Harrington who's in there as well too. And I like what they did with her all throughout. I thought that the teenage stuff was really interesting, especially at the end. You have kind of the fight that breaks out between John and between Steve, and that was really good. And then in the end, I was actually a little bit surprised that she actually does, major spoiler warning, she actually ends up with Steve. Because I figured maybe that they were setting it up to end up with John, but Steve kind of redeems himself because he comes back to help them and stuff, and he shows that he's not scared, and he's able to help out and to help the overall cause. which was great. So I liked John a lot as a character. I thought he was good. He played a really kind of keeps to himself, introverted type of character, and I thought that was fun. Steve was also, you know, a character that plays kind of a minor villain, it feels like, for part of it, and then at the end he kind of redeems himself and he kind of comes back, and he's you know, he's kind of like a, I want to say anti-hero, but he's a good guy in the end, I guess. We've got Karen Wheeler, we've got Dr. Martin Brenner, who's really good, who plays kind of our, I want to say, our big bad. And I thought the story was extremely well written, that the experiments that he does with 11 and what happens with 11 sort of signals the Demogorgon and brings it in, so to speak. It kind of lets it know, and it kind of tethers it in, and so the Demogorgon finds out sort of about this kind of thing, and somehow through these experiments and all these things that happen, I thought the writing was great, that it would kind of bring this thing in. And man, really, really well done. So there's other characters as well too. Those are the ones I'll pretty much go into for you know, for the review itself. We've got Mark Steger, who plays the monster, so that's fun, and you got the teacher and stuff like that. So that's cool. So to sum up this show, I was incredibly impressed with it. I'm going to give it a 9.7 out of 10. I love the first season. I really hope they get a second season for the show. I really hope they do it, because I just felt like the production quality, the character dynamics, the writing, and the you know, the sci-fi aspect too, like very exciting, especially in the end when you have kind of the interdimensional stuff going on. And as soon as you get into interdimensional stuff, you get into a lot of woo-woo kind of out there science fiction stuff. I find that it's very hard to ground that stuff. It's very hard to keep that stuff, you know, to keep it relatable, because it's so kind of out there, and you can really lose your audience, as a lot of shows do, science fiction shows do, when they try to go into these type of territories. But Stranger Things doesn't. It really keeps, at least for me anyway, it really kept me invested in the experience. It kept me caring about the characters, wanting to see what happens, and, you know, really loving all these different dynamics that are happening at the same time. So it's not just kind of a science fiction horror story. It's got much more to it than that. You have kind of the teenage drama, you have the boyhood kind of relationships and camaraderie mixed in there, which is something that you don't see all that much these days. At least for me as an adult, I don't really watch too many shows like that incorporate that kind of feel, which really brought me back to some early 90s stuff and 80s stuff. And all in all, really what I'm saying is I love the series. I love the first season. It was incredible. It's my favorite watch this summer for sure. And yeah, if you guys got a chance to watch the whole season through, this is a spoiler video, so write your comments below, your spoilers below, if you want to discuss anything, maybe the ending possibly with what happens with Will and that. I mean, I almost felt like there was maybe an alien feel there when they're having dinner and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, something's going to happen. And it kind of does, but kind of not. And I think that was the perfect kind of ending, because it closed off everything we've had so far, but it left open just a little bit of maybe something they can use for a second season, which we'll do a whole video on, and we'll do our predictions, and we'll give our thoughts on where we think they could go with a second season if they choose to do it. All I'm saying is Stranger Things rocked it for me. I love the series, and I probably will even watch it again at some point, because it's just so well done. It's just incredibly well executed, well planned, and there are not many shows that are out there like this. In terms of Netflix, I would say this is the best Netflix series so far. And yes, Daredevil's pretty awesome too, and there's some others that are good. But for me, this is the best series on Netflix that I've seen so far. Very impressed with it. Very impressed. So write your comments below, guys. Let me know what you thought. Maybe write one comment, your favorite part of the show. Just one part. What was your favorite part of the entire thing? For me, I probably have to go with the end. Very sad part with 11 there. And definitely some emotional stuff. But there were some other parts that were good too. When Mike jumps off and then they look down. See, again, the care. Just even because from our perspective he's gone, and then you see, and then they look down, and then you see him floating, and then he comes up, and then oh man, with the knife and everything. So write your comment below on your favorite part of the series and just what you thought overall of the series. That's it for this one, guys. If you like this review, don't forget to thumb it up. You can also share, you can also favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. And heads up for the next couple days for another video giving my predictions on what I think is going to happen in Stranger Things Season 2 if Netflix goes ahead and does it. I really hope they will. That's it for this video, guys. We'll see you again soon for another Stranger Things video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.